Gemini, welcome to your monthly sidereal forecast for September of 2015. My name is Athen. So a very powerful month this month. We've got the eclipses taking place, a lot of important planetary configurations, your ruler going retrograde, and a few other things which I'm going to talk about. A lot to cover. So to get more specific with this, do check the weekly forecast that I do for this, and that'll help you. I'll talk more about the specifics and things like that, but here I want to just cover the most important things first in a very general sense. Now, if you are new to this form of astrology, sidereal, do check the description down below, because if you are used to tropical mainstream astrology, your sign is likely different. So in order for this to be applicable for you, you'll need to find your actual sign. So let's go ahead and look at it. We're going to go through it one by one, starting on the 1st of September. We've got a conjunction between Venus and Mars here, right on the cusp between your second and your third house of communications. So here, hopefully you guys have been reflecting more on your self-expression lately. The fun fifth house matters. That's Venus ruling your fifth, and also on spiritual matters, on how you can get more rest and relaxation, and perhaps redoing spiritual pursuits also. So anyways, this conjunction though is going to really fuel that. And this can be very passionate, actually. Lots of that yin-yang masculine energy coming together. And where it's coming together is right on the cusp here in terms of the financial side of things. So hopefully you guys have been reflecting on that also, mostly this very late part of last month and this early part of September, and maybe redoing some of those financial matters also. But in either case, putting energy into those things, the self-expression, all while treating it as a learning process, right? Because the Venus is still retrograde up until the 5th and 6th. And then when she goes direct, a lot of these things relating to your self-expression, which you've been perhaps redoing, rethinking about, relating to the things you enjoy on a deep level, spirituality, which is that 12th house, and maybe even the finances, will start to move forward for you. Okay, so here with Mars, though, you might be intent on it. You might be very direct with it, and that's great. Put energy into it, especially with all this energy that you're going to probably start to notice about communications, because Mars going into your third house now for the remainder of this month and into October, you guys should have a lot of drive and a lot of energy. This is your house, the third house. So you can communicate, you can exchange, you can do the correspondence, the sales for those of you in businesses, spreading the information, spreading the message, all of this stuff, maybe even learning, taking a course, reading a book, writing a book. You can be very direct and you can get a lot done. Now, this is a much better placement for Mars than he has been in the previous signs of Cancer and Gemini. So here he's in a much easier aspect, much easier sign placement. So I recommend all those things. And this is the area, your third house, which is where the solar eclipse is going to take place. You have a lot of activity here with the fast-moving planets. So a lot of new things shaping up for you in terms of how you see life. How you see life as a learning process, how you communicate, how you think. It's a brand new perspective and a brand new shift in your awareness happening this month when we have these eclipses in particular. So anyways, it starts right on the beginning, and I think you can enjoy the routine stuff, by the way, and I think you can enjoy connecting to friends this early part also, since Mars rules those parts of your chart. But shifts there, really going into that fifth house and reflection, like I was saying. Now, the sun does oppose up to Neptune right at the beginning on the 1st. So I think there's been opportunities for you to express yourself and learn and all of that stuff, and maybe you are enjoying that, or will be probably more so the rest of this month than maybe the past couple months. But balancing that with the philosophy, because right now Neptune transiting your guys' 9th house is helping your philosophy become a little bit more spiritual. And by spiritual, I don't necessarily mean like religion, although it can be spiritual teachings, religious, whatever, but it's having more of a expansive view, a view of life that is less about control and all of the practical stuff, and more about the possibilities, and more about the importance of having faith and trust and going with the flow in terms of the big picture. That's been Neptune transiting your 9th. So it's going to be important with all of this very rational, practical, mental energy that has been and will continue to shape up for you this month, to relax with the endless possibilities. The possibilities that there's a life path that's unfolding beyond, there's a part of it that's unfolding beyond your immediate control. And if you can find the balance and peace with that, then it'll ease up a lot of this third house. It'll help it flow a whole lot smoother. And likewise, your philosophy and everything else will become much more practical and much more grounded when you do that also. So anyways, that's the classic example of balancing the practical with the possibilities in life, even the day-to-day stuff and the travel stuff, for those of you involved with that on a more practical level. But yeah, that's the first. Then on the 5th and 6th, Venus does go direct, and that's going to be right on the cusp of your second house. So things starting to shift for you in regards to either those finances, self-expression, spirituality, and rest will start to move forward for you a lot easier now for the rest of the month. Now, it does take time. Venus has to come out of her shadow, but as the month unfolds, you'll certainly feel that. And do continue to enjoy, and I think you will this month, more of the reading, the writing, communicating, that kind of thing. Excuse me. So that's the 5th and 6th. 7th, 8th, and 9th, Mars does trine up to Uranus. So this is going to be, inspiration. That's how this feels, and it's going to be for everybody, but it's inspiring you to do something here about sharing the message, sharing your ideas, your take on the world, or sales or siblings. Maybe some of you might be reconnecting with siblings. That's another third house thing. So whatever it is, lots of motivation, lots of drive, lots of excitement, and perhaps new things coming in. And it's coming in through the area of career. And now career is a big part of the month for you. It has been a big part of this year, which I'll talk about because this is where the lunar eclipse is taking place. So continue to change the career. Continue to see how you can have more freedom in the career front, how you can be yourself in the public eye, in the public image. That could be at work or, in the corporation or whatever, wherever you work. So through that, having that freedom and the ability to be yourself in the public eye, so to speak, will be facilitating a lot of this more sharpness of your communications and exchanges in your mind in general. So that's one way of looking at it. Can also be opportunities in career this month for some of you, depending on your personal chart again. But it's aspecting very nicely between your 10th house and your 3rd house. So that's 7th, 8th, 9th, and then from the 11th through the 12th, your ruler will be sextiling up to Venus. So this middle part of the month, you guys should be feeling quite good, I would say, generally speaking. And this is all about, perhaps you guys are, thinking more about home and family matters, and maybe even applying that part of your chart or that part of your life a little bit more because, the North Node, first of all, has been transiting this 4th house for you. So the past 2 years and this month, again, is important for this because it's life path shifting. For you to put energy into connecting to your past, connecting to your roots, setting up home, renovating home, connecting to family, starting family, things like that. And now with Mercury, your ruler, I think that's where you're really going to be thinking about things. That's where a lot of energy is going to be taking place for you. Now, like I said, Mercury is going to go retrograde. So you guys are going to go into an internal process this later second half of the month. But until then, I do recommend all of that, putting intentions there, practical, just the Gemini fashion, practical, grounded, take care of it, do it. And this is very much relating to the routine and health too, that kind of thing. And what you'll find is that it is unfolding more new beginnings, but it's subtle, it's long-term, it's big picture, because the 4th house is a house that's going to be more activated for you next month and as the following months unfold. So, and you can enjoy that quite a bit with Venus, and I think you'll be enjoying the communications and maybe even enjoying more alone time, more spiritual time, and the self-expression probably going quite well as well. So the 13th through the 21st, now Jupiter is going to be opposing up to Neptune. So just like I was saying with the sun, here, I think you guys have been very passionate to express your ideas, or at least can be. So continue with that. But again, a reminder to stay balanced with this life path that's unfolding in a divine way that's outside of the normal experiences of what we're used to having control over, or even understanding, because this is, again, non-understanding. So balance there. And this can be also for all of us, generally speaking, a sort of uncertainty, and might be uncertainty about where your relationships are going. Where's your career going? Jupiter rules your 7th and your 10th house. So again, faith, trust, and all of that will assist with any type of uncertainty around those areas, or any type of even uncertainties around your communications in terms of how they're unfolding. But I think with all this energy here and the sun here, there is an aspect of communications that you will be very sharp and understanding very clearly with. But feel it. It's very intuitive with Neptune. So that's the 13th through the 21st. On that 13th, we have a solar eclipse. Now, it's partial, but always important in the astrology. So new beginnings now. Maybe some of you might be starting a new book. Maybe some of you might be starting a new course, picking up a new subject. Something in regards to your correspondence and exchanges in life will be very big and very significant for you for now the next 6 months until the springtime of next year. So it's always a reflective time during this new moon / solar eclipse energy. So reflect on it, go within, think about it, and then as the month unfolds, even though you guys are still in this kind of introverted phase this month with your ruler retrograde, implement it, learn it, put it into action, treat it as that learning process. And through that, you'll find culminations in about 6 months in regards to anything new that you do start there. So very significant there. Again, siblings is another way, sales, things like that also. So that's important. 13th, solar eclipse in that third house. And then 17th, your ruler goes retrograde. So continue to reflect on those home and family matters, redo, restructure, maybe some things that you once thought you had very clearly understood. Be willing to redo it, rehash it, because there is some changes that are needed in that front, whether it is with something as literal as your home or something a little bit more like your emotional body. It's a good time to learn more about yourself on an emotional level this month. So that's your ruler retrograde. And then on the 17th, the sun goes into the 4th. So you can actually have insight about how you feel about things. And again, this is all about this life path energy shifting for you to get more in touch with your feelings, the past, things like that. And with the sun here, you can be intent on it. I think your focus will certainly shift this middle part onward. So put in energy there, treat it as a learning process, be willing to learn about it and redo. And then you'll find probably a lot of that quite beneficial in the longer term, right? Like I said, once this energy really starts to unfold over the coming months. So that's the sun. And then on the 18th through the 30th, but then even into October, Saturn is going to be sextiling up to that north node. So confirming even more that there is shifts and changes happening to the home, family, past, emotional sector of your life. Now, this is coming in from Saturn, who's been transiting your 5th house of self-expression, fun, joy, playfulness, which with Saturn here doesn't feel like fun, joy, and playfulness one bit. It feels like you're taking that stuff very seriously, which is good when it's done in a balanced way. What Saturn's been showing you over the past couple of years is if you want to have fun, if you want to have passion in your life, if you want to have good self-expression, you got to take the practical steps. You got to formulate it. You got to ground it. You got to make it into an actual reality. So being open to that energy there, being open to taking that 5th house stuff seriously. This can be children, it can be entrepreneurship, anything over the past 2 years in regards to basically what puts a smile on your face or what you enjoy in life. Continue to take seriously, and you'll find that supporting a lot of this 4th house energy for you. Okay. So that's Saturn, and then the 23rd through the 25th, we've got a few configurations. One is that the sun conjuncts up to the north node, further signifying more new beginnings in relation to home, family, past, and feelings. And I think there's going to be illumination of your life path and understanding around this time period, even though I think you're still learning more about it. Mars squares up to Saturn at this time. So here from your 3rd house, if as this later part of the month unfolds, you start to feel a restriction on your ability to communicate or with correspondence or with anything that is about exchanging, or your mind even, or you're seeing things a little bit pessimistically sometimes with Saturn, this is where you want to, again, take the mature approach, that grounded approach, and take it slow and take it easy and go easy on yourself if there is, heavy thoughts and things like that. And I'm not saying it's going to be a difficult month necessarily. It depends on your personal chart. But here, if you are getting very realistic thoughts to the point where it's just too realistic, ease up a little bit, take it easy, take it slow. Mars here is that, we're challenged. There's, usually we feel like we're not able to really assert ourselves here, and it takes time and it takes patience. Now, if these planets are well aspected in your personal chart, and you won't feel this as much, it'll just be very constructive. But in either case, it is important for you to be open to constructively working at how you're expressing yourself, how you're writing, how you're communicating, how you're relating with others, and taking it slow. And what you'll find is this is a very constructive time period, especially as the October month starts to unfold a little bit more, because then a lot of the energy you did put into it, you'll start to see coming out, I think, in the external environment. And again, remember, this is the area where the eclipse happens, so it'll be a culmination around spring also. Now, Pluto goes station direct here in your 7th house. So if you've been reflecting on the importance of stepping into your power when it comes to relationships, and this has been an ongoing theme for many years, this is where you'll start to, I think, shift and really step into more of an understanding about the importance of mutual respect. And this can be, mutual respect where you have to step into your power to have mutual respect and to be willing to change relationships. And this can be a personal relationship. It can be all kinds of relationships, but be open to change here. And I think you will be, because Pluto, relatively speaking, is well aspected this month, and there's going to be shifts there. And it's slow, it's steady. Mostly into October, you'll probably see the relationship changes on the external level, manifesting a little bit more in a way that's helping you connect to that true inner spiritual power, which comes from non-attachment. Because when we're no longer attached, then the change can just happen versus us resisting it, and then it creates tension and things. 27th and 28th, the lunar eclipse. Now, this is the most important part of the month, I would say. Total lunar eclipse in that 10th house of career and everything on that public level. So, like I said, back in March, you had a solar eclipse here, new beginnings. So from that time period, for those of you who've been putting in a lot of energy and a lot of work and intention with your career, this can be a culmination point. Now, it's all culminating for you to have a career that is more in alignment with you spiritually, which is always very important for you Gemini, since Pisces naturally rules your 10th house. But an awareness nonetheless. And this awareness, what you'll find actually, is man, I got all the way up to, how did that happen? Let me go back up here. Okay. I don't know how long it's been like that, but anyways, it doesn't take away from the information. All right, so we've got this this full moon, right? Or this same energy as a full moon, the lunar eclipse in the 10th. So culmination point here, and an awareness of the 10th house matter. So I think you'll be able to see to a degree very clearly the area around career, public life, big picture things, anything related to your legacy. So balancing that with the home and family stuff, which is going to start to shift for you, like I was saying, in these coming months. But still, nonetheless, reflecting on that, putting energy into it would be a good way of working with this second half. But again, it's more spiritual, it's more reflective because it is happening in Pisces. But if you're feeling the energy, and the opportunity is open for that, especially with Uranus, it's going to be trending up to Venus around this time period in that 3rd house, you can find more energy unfolding for you there. So that's where the big shifts, big changes are happening, where you'll find a culmination and awareness of the type of careers or career energy that is very important to you spiritually. So that being said, that's it. Those are the major aspects. One thing about your rulers that on the 30th, Mercury is going to be retrograde over the sun. So here Mercury is very close to the Earth at this time period. So I think you guys' thoughts and communications, although internal, can, like I was saying earlier, but at this point be very sharp, and it can be kind of coming out into the forefront. You're in front. The Mercury ruler is in front of the sun. And so your ruler there is that you're in the front. Your sharp mind and communications can certainly be attuned during this time period, but it's also signifying more new beginnings around home and family that are shifting for you, like I was saying, these coming months. So that's the general gist. Gemini, if you guys have any questions, please do let me know. This was a very general look, so if you'd like a personal reading, get in touch by clicking the link down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one. I'll talk to you all next time.